Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'll be showing you how to cut a bustier with yoke and also shoulder darts. So this line I'm rolling will serve as the starting point. Remember the paper is on fold. So I'll be measuring on fold. So from that line, I insert my chest line, bust points, under bust, and waistline. I'll be running out the lines. So I'll go ahead and label it. Here is the chest point, bust point, under bust, and the waist line. So the next thing I'll be doing is to insert my shoulder measurement. That is shoulder divided by 2. My shoulder is 7.5, so I'll be inserting the neck width. I'll be making use of 3 inches, and I will make use of 3 inches for the neck depth. So let me go ahead and roll it out and curve it with the French curve. On the shoulder line, I'll be coming down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. So I'll be connecting it to the neck. So on the chest, I will inserting my bust measurement divided by 4. The bust I'm making use of is 9.5. That is, when you finish dividing it, it will be 9.5. That is 8. So I insert the 9.5. Then I measure the inches of the armhole and mark the midpoint of the armhole. That is the middle of shoulder to chest. I mark the midpoint. So now I'm connecting the shoulder line to meet the chest. So on that midpoint, I'll be coming in by 1/2 inch. So now I'm connecting the armhole curve. I'm connecting the shoulder, the midpoint, and the bust measurement. So the next thing is to insert your breast distance. The breast distance I'm working with is 3.5. I insert the breast distance on the under bust, waist, I use the ruler and connect it together. And also insert the breast distance on the bust point also, 3.5. Connect all the lines. So from under bust to the waistline, for the center pattern, I'll be coming in by half an inch on the under bust and on the waistline. I'll go ahead and connect the lines this way. So for the side pattern, I'll be going in by 1.5 on the under bust and the waistline. I'll connect the line also, the points also. So on the bust point, I'll be coming down by 1 inch. So I will use the curve to trace the line, to trace the point. That 1 inch that I came down from to under bust, that I'm minus to 1.5. Then on the center piece also, that I minus half an inch. You have something like this. So on that bust point also, I come up by half an inch. From the bust point towards the chest side, you come up by half an inch. So on the shoulder, that is from neck to shoulder, I measured it, divide it by 2. So on the midpoint, that is 2.5, I connected it to the bust point. You connect it this way to the bust point. You have something like this. You can actually go with this pattern and it will give you a wonderful outcome. If you don't want to go further, this is shoulder dart. But we'll go ahead and trace out the yoke. On the chest, I come up by half an inch. I come up by half an inch. Then from the bust point, I go up by 1.5. 1.5. I don't want my cleavage to show much. You can actually go down or come up depending on how you want your yoke to look. Then I trace it to the armhole. you have something like this. So next, we will go ahead and insert the darts on the bust side. The reason why we are inserting these darts, we are taking 1 inch on the bust side, is to avoid caping on the bust, to avoid caping. So we'll connect it to the bust point, connect it this way. So these lines that I'm shading out, we will not be making use of it. This is the yoke. We are done with the yoke. So let's insert the measurement. On the chest line, you insert your bust measurement. Bust measurement, then plus that intake. You measure your dart intake. You add your dart intake. On the other underbust, you measure your round underbust, then add your dart intake. On the waistline, you insert your waist measurement, divide by 4, and add your dart intake also. So we'll go ahead and connect the lines. So next, I'll be adding sewing allowance. I'm adding 1 inch sewing allowance. You can go ahead and add your preferred sewing allowance. I'll go ahead and cut it out. Here I've finished cutting it out. Remember, while cutting it out on your fabric, to add half inches for your joining. Half inch for your joining. For the back, I have zip allowance, 2 inches zip allowance. I've slant the shoulder, mark out the chest, bust, under bust, and the waistline. I've inserted the breast distance right from the zip allowance, 3.5, 3.5. Then from on the waistline, I go in by half inch on the both side, then trace it to the bust. I went ahead and traced out the bust measurement on the waistline. I traced out the waist measurement and added it the dart intake. You go ahead and add it your sewing allowance. So for the yoke, I'll be making use of the chest line for the yoke. I'll be making the yoke to be V shape. So watch and see how I trace out the yoke. Right from the shoulder. Right from the shoulder. Remember, I insert the 3 inches neck width. So this is it for the yoke. I'll go ahead and cut it out. Watch and see how I cut it. Guys, if you find this video helpful, please share, like, and subscribe to my channel. You can also comment. Thank you for watching. The next thing we'll be doing is to adjust the zip allowance. On the waistline, I removed 1 inch. Then on the chest line, I remove half an inch. The reason why I remove 1 inch on the waistline is to avoid it coming up